Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another live stream / recording of MTG Arena. Today is Friday, November 1st. So the month is over and the season is over. Now, I don't believe seasons in Magic the Gathering Arena are month long. But they might be. So I guess that means if I was in the beta day one, I probably missed about 12 seasons. But then I probably missed a lot of things there. Level by Level Gaming is already on the chat saying hello. I've optimized a little bit more so there's less time of dead air at the beginning of these streams. Of course, YouTube is certainly doing everything in their power to make it more difficult to be a YouTuber. In particular, they have gotten rid of the upload ability, the bulk upload ability right now, at least, when I was trying to use it completely, because there is no bulk upload in the upload beta, the video upload beta on YouTube, and they are now completely redirecting anybody that tries to go to the original old upload page to the beta. So they're just screwing almost everybody that doesn't have some highly expensive custom-made content management system that automatically uploads videos, or people that don't have access to the better software that YouTube pretends they doesn't tell people they have. So I am stuck using Uploader, which there's like a custom version that still works off of that, but it runs into problems too. So I'm now just gonna have to constantly be uploading things in between streams, and more time, not less time, is gonna have to be spent working with that software and just trying things. So I start down here to actually talk about this game at Bronze Tier 4, and for Constructed we're starting at Bronze Tier 1. I don't know why I wouldn't start both at Bronze Tier 4. That seems weird. So, also the Brawl is done, which, let's just quickly look at that. So, yeah, the Brawl is done, and it seems like there is no Brawl to replace it. Yeah, this is what I had heard, is that they're only doing the Brawls like once a month for a short time, instead of a weekly Tavern Brawl. Let's see, green. If I do green here, I can save myself some time. So that's probably the right move. I played a little bit off screen too, so we have a mastery gem we need to place. Let's open these 4 packs. So more cards. More cards that, honestly, right now it's not kind of the best way to look at these cards, because you can't really zoom them in any more than that. And of course, this is just a TV problem showing its face again, where if I was looking at this at a monitor, this would be easy enough to read. But honestly, I would prefer, and I preferred this in Hearthstone too, the mobile, when you were opening card packs in Hearthstone mobile, at least for Android, it would show one card and take up most of the screen with that one card, and then they would just slide in a line over so you could look at everything. This similar situation here, I would like to be able to right click this and take up the full screen, or at least whatever the right ratio at full screen would be, and really look at these cards. But also, it's just a little overwhelming, when you're opening packs, there's just like some conflicting emotions there, I would say, between just wanting to open the packs and get cards and actually wanting to look at the cards you get. And that might just be a thing about how I'm thinking, and maybe I'll eventually get to the mentality of, oh yeah, I actually want to look at the cards that I want to do. This is weird how the music plays this way and then you hover over this card and it fades in a different music. I honestly think I'm getting closer to a point where the Throne of Eldraine cards are not what I really should be getting, and I should be getting Core 2020. I suspect I actually probably can't wait till Core 2021 comes out. Depending, I have no idea when that comes out, but I would imagine it comes out sometime mid-year, the 4th or 5th year. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's somewhere around the 4th, 5th month of the year of 2020 they announce and release the Core 2021 packs, and at that point I would probably spend all of my gold or most of my gold doing that. So, where are we now? We are at 40, so working up to 50, which at 45 we get an upgraded version of our pet. But our main focus eventually would be to get up to 90, and if we could get all the way to 100, that would be great. I guess you should keep an eye out to see if anybody has this card sleeve. If you see somebody playing with this, you know they're a whale and they've already spent all their money. Once you get to 101, then you just get random cards of different rarity. And there's no guarantee, I guess, what kind of cards these are. And I guess getting an uncommon card reveal is actually a pretty pathetic level up. So after you get to 110, you're really just getting kind of a pathetic amount of cards or rewards. So we'll just continue down the line. Another cosmetic. Of course, all these cosmetics are Throne of Eldraine, so there's Throne of Eldraine stuff's being cards you want to play. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 more of these to collect, which I guess I could have just looked at this number down here and figured that out. So, what we want to do is, as we're going through a series of our first deck rebuilds, is I have over here, let's see, yeah, 29 days. Okay, that is good to know. The seasons do end in a month, so we're back to playing limited. I guess bronze tier 4 is, well, I don't really get that. Like, they both seem like they both would have a bronze tier 4. So why did constructed, I guess I was just higher in constructed. Anyways, we have daily quests to play green cards combined here. So if I just take a moment and make a new green deck, this would be exactly what I need to do. Alright, that's not what I meant to do. I don't want to edit my white deck. I want to come over here and I want to select this one, which I suppose is the next one anyways. Clone this, change its name. I probably should be giving these different names, but honestly, if I was to give them different names instead of just numbers, it would really be a case of me just calling it green deck, and that's it, because these fancy names don't mean anything to me. I don't know where they really come from. It's either some really creative fans of Magic the Gathering, or it's people that work at Wizards of the Coast. Right. So I think these are trample and counters cards, at least to start with. So I guess the first thing we'd want to do is let's just adjust our land. We have 25 forest cards. Let's get rid of the useless forest cards. So these are probably the cards you would want more than anything. Ones that simply give you some extra ability and can enter the field untapped, instead of them entering the field tapped, based on whether or not you control a forest in this instance. So if you have 4 mana and you tap, you add 6 green mana, and you can spend that mana to cast spells or activate abilities of creatures. So that's a major savings. Let's see. This one you control, if you control 3 or more forests, you will get a food token, but it enters the field tapped unless you have 3 or more forests. Meanwhile, this really isn't necessary. This will give you life. This you can pay 2 life. I'm not sure I really love those. So what I think I probably did wrong in previous decks is playing a bunch of these that will just give you life as heals, when that doesn't really help the situation. So I'm going to add these to the deck, but then I'm going to consider getting rid of some of these. There's 2 Thornwood Falls here, just different art. One is a core M20 card, one is a Throne of Eldraine card, and you can only really tell that by the logo there. So there's going to be a weird thing when the rotation happens where I could see the core 2020 cards getting converted to core 2021 cards for a lot of people, and that would be the right way to play it. But then I could also see them saying, well, the Throne of Eldraine cards don't, and you can't dust them in this game, so they're just useless. We're not going to be playing with a commander. Putting this on the field instead brings more forest cards, but it reduces the total number of forest cards you would have. So actually I don't think Evolving Wilds is that useful either, unless you're playing some special strategy. And then this could bring out another forest. Right. So I'm 20 over right now. If I got rid of 20 of these, I think that's wrong. So I'm going to instead go down to 2 of each of these that add life and give you a different color. Which in all likelihood, having a variety of extra different colored mana probably isn't super useful. And then that means I'd only have to get rid of 12 other of these forest cards, which seems reasonable. 2, 3, 1, 0. Now we're back to 60. That leaves 13 regular forest cards and several of these 8 health in particular and varied colored things. There might even be an argument to go up to 3 on this and get rid of 4 more of those, but I'm gonna leave it there. Then the next thing I guess we want to look at is this, and let's see, are we looking at this the right way? Yeah, I think we are. Let's now look at the uncolored cards and decide what we want. I have 2 ginger brutes, which I guess I'll be fast and loose about adding these. And we're kind of trying to think what strategies might be specifically helpful as far as tokens. Most of these I think are probably not going to be that useful. Equipping cards or doubling your spells on a green deck might not be that useful. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything useful there. That's a commander card. I wish you could filter out commander cards. Can you filter out commander cards? Well, you can filter them in, but it doesn't seem like you can filter them out. Maybe you would have to just click everything else except for commander, which that would be a hassle. I'm still loving these, and that gives you like 4 more mana in the long run. Let's see. Choose target permanent card from your graveyard that was put at from the battlefield this turn. I don't think that would be useful. A flying first strike 2/1 who's an artifact creature and a bird. I don't think that's probably much better than some of our other creatures. I want to stay a little bit more with the green cards and not just try to make everything a non-colored deck. Although, in all truthfulness, the non-colored decks, if I had enough of these cards, I could probably just make one non-colored deck, and that would be that. That would work perfectly fine. Almost certainly I am gonna eventually boil down to playing 2 or 3 special decks and not playing everything else. Alright, so now becomes the real question, is the green cards. So we've had this card in plenty of decks. This one with green mana, I still think he's good because you get those different colors from the different mana, and that allows you to potentially cast different spells. So +3/+3 until the end of the turns might be something you want to get rid of. Let's see. Creates a food token when it's played, and it seems like you can sacrifice food tokens for mana or use mana to create food tokens. I don't think that's a good strategy. +1/+1 until for each creature you control. I'm not sure this really is a deck around having a bunch of cheap characters as much as it is having strong characters. This for 1 mana would give you a gate or a land, but I don't know what a gate is, and I apparently don't have any. Let's see. Pelt collector might get some bonuses if other creatures die. So we'll try that. Do we have another one of those to add? No. If you were gonna play a food token strategy, there needs to be some card that lets you do something with food tokens to damage the enemy. That's where all this has to eventually boil down to, is that unless there's a strategy to do some things that allow you to damage the enemy, you can get your health as high as you want, you can get as many creatures on the field, you can get as many food tokens as you want, and it still very well may not lead to a victory. So yeah, we're still looking. Add 1 mana. No. Enchanted creature loses all abilities, and green is a green elk creature with a base power of 3/3. Loses other card types and creature types. I don't know why you would want to do that. That's a weird card to play. Hexproof. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile target card from a graveyard. None of those are particularly great. Adapt 4. So for 6 mana, this guy could adapt to a 6/6, I guess. Let's see. Whenever you cast a spell, you can draw, scry, and draw. I don't know if we really need that. So unless we see a scry strategy show up, I think I'm going to get rid of Season of Growth. Let's see. This might be useful. Well, if this was on the field and there was a way to buff this up a lot, that might make sense. Otherwise, you're just giving a +2 and +2. Actually, that's still probably not too bad for a 2 mana creature. And apparently, I originally had none of these cards. Otherwise, they would be on the field. They'd be in the deck. And now I have like 3 of them, which is weird. Nothing there. Can't be blocked with power of 2 or less. I don't think there'd ever be a good reason to play this, although maybe there is. Maybe there's some strategy in just playing really powerful creatures that don't have any abilities. That's a calculation that has to be rethought, considered. Well, this would sacrifice 2 foods and create a 7/7 green giant token for 3 mana. That's not terrible. Let's see. Ooh. Well, Gift of Paradise. You should play that. Yeah, in Hearthstone, the effects certainly mattered. Like, way more than 1 extra attack and 1 extra health. But because you don't have a damage that is continued for most creatures when they're blocking and defending, having just 1 more toughness might be worth a lot more than an ability. Yeah, and we're gonna probably go halfway next week rebuilding these decks, and then that would probably be about it for a while. Doing combined decks probably doesn't make any sense until I figure out the cards better, and once I figure out the cards better, then making a green-black deck, for example, would be the combination of saying, can I merge my good green cards with my good black cards and get a better synergy that way. See, return target creature land from a graveyard to its owner's hands, you gain 6 life. It's probably not a bad idea, but I don't know why a land card would be in the graveyard, so that's, I suspect, not as useful as you would think. So, how would this adventure work? It's like 1 mana to add 1 mana of any color, or play 3 mana to put it on the field, and then you could tap it for 1 mana. Yeah, I don't think that's useful. Food tokens. A 4 mana with food tokens, that's probably not terrible. The cost of the adventure spells. Oh yeah, I guess they're at the top here. Yeah, so where it says seasonal ritual, and in the middle on the left, it shows 1 green mana. So 1 green mana will give you a different mana of any color. Here it's 1 colorless and 1 green mana to do Shield's Might. The way it's depicted is weird, to say the least. Because it has, like, I suppose what it is it's the name that's at the top being repeated as a different card, and then the descriptor at the bottom of the picture in the top half being repeated as a different card. It's basically 2 cards in one in a different way. Let's see. Each creature in your graveyard. I'm not sure that this is the best card, but we'll throw it in there. If 1 or more +1 counters would be put on a Malloy companion, then put that many +1 counters on it. So extra +1 counters. Let's see. Here's a out muscle with green indestructible. All creatures able to block prized unicorn do so. I don't see a reason why I'd want to keep that. Sacrifice a food, put a +1 count on Wicked Wolf until the end of the turn, and tap it. I don't know if that's useful, because that means it's gonna fight in some weird way that you're not really expecting. Draw a card every time a non-human creature attacks. It's probably not a bad idea. Although I don't know if you really want to draw the cards. You don't die to running out of cards very often. Having 60 cards is more than enough, usually. Creatures in your graveyards, creatures you can control. Get +2/+2. And trample. Let's see. Another trample card. 5 mana for to enchant a creature to create a 2/2 green wolf token. And yeah, so 5 mana to give +2/+2 to one character and create a wolf token. Now when it says enchanted creature gets +2/+2, that's the same as putting 2/1/1 tokens on it, I imagine. 1/1 counters. I think that's the same. If not, then there would be a weird system there where two things happen. When feasting Troll King enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, create a food token, sacrifice 3 food tokens, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate its ability only during your turn. So, if there's a way to get this in the graveyard, that would be nice, because then you'd have an easy way to summon it instead of paying the massive amount of 6 mana to bring that onto the field. Is this a card worth playing? 4 mana to put 2/1/1 counters on a target creature, or 6 mana to have a 6/5. Might be an option. This very well may be a example of a cards that are just gonna have a lot of cards here that we'll have to decide what are worth playing and which ones aren't. Let's see. You know, we haven't seen a lot of cards that search the deck and summon creatures from the deck to your field, which would be a cool feature to see, but I haven't seen anything that does that yet. Vigilance and trample until the end of the turn. It's a little bit better than getting trample. Get another one of those. And then, so now we're just down to 2 cards like this. It's probably not a bad card. +1/+1 and gains death touch until the end of the turn. Let's see. That's not that useful. Let's see. Sacrifice 2 food tokens, draw a card. Whenever you gain a life for the first time each turn, return Deathless Knight from your graveyard to your hand. Which would be interesting, I suppose, but I'm not sure that's the best move. Death Sprout? Destroy target creature. It might not be a bad idea to play something that's 4 mana, although this won't actually work, so I'll have to remind myself of that. The odds of you having 2 black mana are really low, so a lot of these don't make sense because of that. Equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard, get a bunch of +1/+1 tokens. Yeah. It's highly unlikely I should play anything that's really expensive and requires 2 different colors. But some of these low things might not matter. Let's see, like a +4/+2 and gains trample is something that might work. Elementals. Let's see. Deals damage to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. We'll have to make sure. We kind of don't want something that would just attack a planeswalker or creature as a card, but it's not a terrible idea. And I'm gonna really have to curate this. I'm adding a lot. We're at 101 cards in the deck right now. And it's just getting a little too complicated. And individual comparisons of cards are going to be the things that totally won't make sense. It's a planeswalker, but he's not particularly useful. Creatures you control have haste. Actually, no, he is actually kind of useful. Because giving a bunch of characters that have trample, also haste, would be useful. Let's see. At least I think it would. Basic Force or Plains card for 1 mana. These probably, if there's any other search cards I would play, this is probably better than that. Because you have the opportunity that maybe you could get +2/+2 until the end of the turn instead. Indestructible. And then that's not terrible either. Right now, cards giving trample alone though are pretty useless. Because almost everything I'm playing from the green deck would have trample anyways. Gain +1/+1 for you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Yeah, that's probably not what you want. Let's see. I don't think that's what we want. Here's another Convoke card. That's probably not a bad idea. Legendary 3/3 green and white wolf creature token. Whenever the wolf enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life and the creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So you're paying 5 for that card. It's probably not a bad card either. I keep saying that though, like we're so deep down in the well. And yeah, I know we're not covering the news yet and we haven't played a single game, but this really needs to happen and I want people to go along the journey. By the time we get to episode, I suppose 30 or so, at that point I'll have locked in everything and we'll be playing regular games consistently. But right now the journey is to learn the cards and build decks, and I'm sure if anybody's watching this and they're experts at Magic already, they're yelling at the screen and telling me I'm a fool. Probably true. Like, I really don't even know what I don't know yet. And this certainly is taking a time. But I gotta figure this stuff out. Otherwise, I will just, for my entire career of playing MTG Arena, constantly suffer from being ignorant and not learning. Let's see. What does this one abilities do? It creates food tokens. And it creates elk creatures. It's probably not bad. So I still don't know why I want food tokens, but I'll see. Is Oko Thief of Crowns better than Oko the Trickster? Put 2/1/1 tokens on there until the end of the turn. Becomes a copy of a target creature you control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. 7 until the end of the turn. Each creature you control has a base power and toughness of 10 and gets trample. Alright, that is better. Okay. Alright, so we're at 115 cards. So we are really messed up here. I guess the thing to ask is, what do we want to get rid of? Let's see, we'll just click this apply styles to get rid of that first. And I don't want to hit the craft all button. +2/+2 vigilance and trample until the end of the turn. 8 mana. That's expensive. Convoke and trample here. Destroy target non-land. So 7 mana to destroy something and get a 3/3 is not worth it. So we can get rid of that. I'll go to Trickster. 6 mana for a 5/5, and then for 5 more mana you can untap target land you control. It becomes a 5/5 elemental creature and is still land. These cards I think have a tendency not to be that useful. But 2/1/1 counters for 6 mana or 4 mana is not that useful, I think. Hydra spells you cast cost less. Are any of the other things Hydra spells? Well, this is a Hydra spell. So this makes it well, 6 mana for an 8/7 is probably useful. And I've got 2 of those to make that cheaper so we can play that later. Sacrifice a food token to bring this back to the battlefield. So if I can get this into the graveyard, that would be great. You probably easiest way would be just to discard it. Kind of playing nothing the first turn and discard that in the field. Distribute 3 1/1 tokens amongst 1, 2, or 3 characters for 6 mana. It's probably not something I want to keep. So 6 mana for an 8/8, not terrible. Whereas 5 mana for a 6/6 with special ability might be. Let's see. 5 mana for a 4/5. Drawing a card. I think we're getting rid of the drawing a card idea, so I'm gonna get rid of the Silverback Shamans. And I think we can get rid of that spell because everything has trample anyways. This will let me draw cards. Alright. Creatures have haste. Do I want to keep that on the field before? Let's get rid of Death Sprout, because that won't work. Get rid of the Unicorn. Probably get rid of this. Yeah. Vigilance Trample with counters being put on it. Each card in your graveyard, get rid of that. We're not going to have too many things in the graveyard. Probably get rid of that because that's probably not that useful. This creates a food token for 4 mana and is a 4/4, so that's good. Alright, we're gonna, I think, get rid of this. Put a 1/1 creature for counter on each creature. And heal. I like that. Let's see. This Gift of Paradise. Do I need 2 of these cards though? Or just 1? I think we can just do it with 1. Because having 2 of those wouldn't be useful. A flying 2/2 adds something different. This adds a 1/1 counter, or creates a green and white elf. This would deal damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control, and summon a beast. Or summon a beast, I guess, for 4 mana. So more options there. So Thrash here is almost exactly the same as this, but is also oddly expensive. And the way they depict the cost here indicates that this would be a straight up 6 mana card, but I don't think you can play both abilities, can you? I've never tried that. 6 damage to a creature with flying. Let's get rid of these. Let's see. Scry. We'll draw a card. Let's give it a Season of Growth. We're down to 94 cards. Get rid of Rapid Bite. Let's see. +3, +3. And then +5 the second time. And then +7, +7 the third time. And if you play it the fourth time, it would then be +9, +9. A cheap Vigilance card. I think Ginger Brute probably is going. Searching for a card, probably not something we're gonna keep. Destroy or buff. Let's get rid of these. We're down to 84. This guy gets a counter. Like every time something enters the field. And then gets trample. Okay, we still are gonna have to make some hard decisions here. Because let's get rid of that. +1, +1, and Death Touch versus +3, +3. I think inherently that makes this better. Plus the ability to destroy things, which you wouldn't have otherwise. This one just gets hexproof. So we'll get rid of all of that. Now we've got 18 still to go. We have cheap Vigilance compared to this, which is more about counters. This is not bad, but it doesn't really have anything to do with counters, so I think we have to get rid of it because we want a strategy here that synergizes. We may need to do the same with the flying card. Let's see. Food tokens for 4 mana. Let's see. What else do we want to get rid of? Does it matter that we have haste? Be nice. Do we need to draw a card? I don't think so. You only really need to draw cards if your cards aren't valuable, and it becomes even less likely that you need to draw cards in Magic than Hearthstone because you're not guaranteed an increase in mana for the first 10 turns. Convoke. Let's see. Other creatures get trampled just in case they didn't have it before. Counters. Let's we may need to get rid of that. May need to get rid of that. Like we really don't want to get rid of land. Vigilance and trample until the end of the turn. Put counters on one target you can control. Let's get rid of that. That's options. Want to try that? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of one of those. Actually, didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Actually, get rid of that. Maybe only one miracle pixie. I think we have to get rid of all the growth cycles. And I think we get rid of all but one Greenwood Sentinel. And I think we get rid of that. Let's get rid of one of those, actually. And so I lost a card that I didn't want to lose. And now it's going to be a nightmare to try and figure out what that one card was that I lost. But I suppose after I figure that out, we'll be done. Here it was. I lucked out. There. Alright. And that very well may have been close to an hour just to build the deck. Forest Mites version 1.1. Let's hop in here. Standard rank. Change the deck. And play. I mean, this is effectively a green only deck with a few changes, and that's it. Yeah, that was almost an entire hour just playing doing a deck build. So yeah, this is why I did not do deck builds very often in Hearthstone. And they're waiting for the other guy to mulligan, I guess, before they're even going to show me my cards, which would not be very true to life, frankly. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd draw cards and look at them at the same time. Maybe what it was really doing there was just sneakily playing for time so it could add in a network buffer. Life. Your other forests. Let's go ahead and mulligan this and keep this, yeah. So we have to send something back. So what do we want to put back? If you have 3 or more other forests, probably not what you want to get rid of. But we'll do that anyways. So I've been playing Ducktales Remastered, which is no longer available for sale. A great game made by WayForward, and then I can only assume that Capcom just pulled it from sale, because I don't see a reason why WayForward would even be possibly rich enough to say we're not going to sell this game. And if Disney was going to pull it, then I can't see why Capcom and WayForward wouldn't work together. Since Capcom's the publisher and WayForward's the developer, I don't see why you wouldn't have just reskinned it as a Shantae game, spin-off game. Instead, it's way better than Shovel Knight, in my opinion. It's a shame it's also something that most people won't be able to play. I played backwards, I should have just played that first. Unlike the white deck where you have cards that synergize with gaining health here is simply just a thing you can do. It's not even really worth it when you see this guy is playing. He's gonna attack me for 2. Alright. So if I play this, it's a bad move, but I think kind of a necessary move. Actually, nope, still kind of a bad move because he'll probably just attack anyways. Whenever this attacks or blocks, create a food token, sacrifice 2 food tokens to draw a card. So he's already got a couple of food tokens. Green. No attacks. So, Fierce Wild Stalker. Vigilance, Death Touch. I don't think I have Questing Beast. Or it just had so much dialogue on it. That I didn't read it, because that certainly looks like that is a very good card. And I don't know what I could do to get around that. I can create a bunch of 2/2 green and white elf knight creatures with vigilance. This is not the card that doubles the +1/+1 counter, so I may be missing that one card, which would really work towards the synergy here. And see, I may win, but it seems like I'm winning because this guy has decided to stop playing or his internet has messed up. So yeah, I was a little divided on whether I was gonna try to get another 30 to 40 minute episode of Ducktales Remastered done. There's really only 3 levels left, so that'd be the end of the game, unless I'm gonna play it a second time, which may be, but unlikely, because the levels aren't gonna change any. It would just be a matter of, do I want to play it on a harder difficulty and possibly get more gold to unlock more extras, more art and music and things. Green. Let's see. 3 or more other force, not yet. Can I do this? No. Indestructible till the end of the turn. It's not where we're ready for. So if I was going to try and cast this spell next turn, and it was going, that would be 8 mana, definitely don't have 8 mana. I'm in one of those situations where I'm just gonna have to auto pass. See, what I'm thinking auto passing really means, and they don't explain this well at all, or even try to explain it, I think what it should mean, at the very least, is all the foreseeable cards that you can play right now. Like, I could play this instant spell, or one of these 2 instant spells, or this instant spell. All of those things should just be checked off on the list and not prompt. But if something new happens, that like the opponent plays a card, then it should ask me to resolve there at that point and say, do I want to cast an instant spell to counter that action? Yeah, he just lost his internet connection and I won, which fair enough. That's a bitter taste in my mouth though, so I don't want to end the recording with that performance. I want to get at least one good game in here. Of course, if this is just internet trouble, fine. Like, if I'm just gonna win a whole bunch because people have internet trouble or because I'm somehow having internet trouble, I'm more than happy with that. Let's see. Gain life, 3 or more. Creatures you have. Creature with vigilance. Let's mulligan that. Yeah, that's kind of what we want. So I'm going to keep. And then we drop that into the deck. Play that first. Can we undo that? Darn it. No. That was a mistake. But whatever. Now it's just going to ask me to cast this instant on a creature. So at this point, you should be able to, it should ask you, even if you're auto passing. But what seems to happen is then, when there are things like that happening, that you still end up in a weird situation where things are just not doing well. So it asks you to resolve things over and over again. Which maybe you don't need to ask all of that. The other thought could be it might just be a case of that there needs to be a resolve timer here of 3 seconds. That's what it really boils down to. Alright. Here's our flying fairy creature. And passing only lasts 1 turn, one of your opponent's turn or one of your own turns. So you're just constantly having to go back in auto passing mode. Let's see. What would this be? +1/+1 in Death Touch. This guy is, he's straight up gonna win just because of unfortunate circumstances, I think. Start by playing that. I don't have a black, so I couldn't use the other. Of course, I could play something. I could declare this a black and then use that as a black mana if I wanted to. So that's not too bad, but still didn't really help. So we're gonna straight up lose. And we might as well cast this on this creature. Still trying to get the daily quest in. So I'm gonna push it for one more game. You're in this weird position when you're trying to get feedback from a deck like this. If you're not playing something, well, if you're not playing with people that are going to let you keep on playing to try out your deck, you're just gonna lose sometimes a lot before you get any good amount of feedback. So you kind of need a system where it's like first to 100 health or negative 100 health, something, or your friends will just keep on letting you play in total. Ideally what you would want to do is, and I don't believe this is a playstyle that's ever actually existed in Magic, but if it does, well, I haven't heard of it. Ideally what you would want to say is we're going to play all 60 cards in our deck and we're going to keep count of life, and at the end of everybody playing every single card in their deck, then whoever has the most life wins. And so you just start at 20 again, work your way into the large, deep negative numbers, and that works for people. And then that's a way that would make a extremely long and kind of ridiculous game of Magic, but it would satisfy testing out your decks. Whereas playing ranked right now, I might just get my butt handed to me over and over again before I can even realize which cards are the bad cards and which cards are the good cards, or if I have any cards at all that would work to improve the scenario. Right. This would be a interesting card for a token deck. And this guy gets a counter when you lose 4 more health. Okay. Food tokens. Alright. Do we have anything that would put tokens? Yeah, I think we do. So. So now we have a Vigilance and Trample character on the field. And this will double the mana you need. So yeah, I should play Gift of Paradise, and then that would, I mean, probably should have played it last turn, because that would have worked fine. Yeah. So play this. Gain 3 life. Enchant land. Add 2 of 1 color. Let's see. Auto tap solution has changed. Select auto pay to confirm the new solution. Interesting. So I probably should have 2 Gifts of Paradises on the field because this enchants a card in such a way that 1 land can double your thing. I thought it enchanted all my land. See how this works. Is this one tapped and not untapped? I'm really questioning what happened there that this creature is not untapping. Oh, because I keep using it for mana, I imagine. Yeah, that's what's going on. So at least we know we want more Gifts of Paradise. That is actually a better card than some of these other cards. I am definitely noticing that these cards that heal 1 are not as useful as you would think they would be. These Hydra spell cards. And then attack. Enchant land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color, so you enchant a land that could do 2 blues or 2 greens or 2 blacks or 2 greens, and that makes it a lot more useful, particularly if you were playing a dual color deck instead of just playing a single color deck. Next turn, if we wanted to play this, it's 8. So 2, 4, 6, 7. I need 1 more mana. And does anything have Death Touch? He does. So I need some way of stopping. Vigilance and trample until the end of the turn. And play that. And sacrifice a food for health. So I can attack with this, or I can block next turn. He's got like 2 Death Touch creatures, so I don't know how to really get rid of the Death Touch creatures. So I'm in this quagmire where, yeah, kind of nothing I do makes this work. I can block this one, and all I can really do with this is block that one. Well, I guess I could block it with two things. I keep forgetting you can do that. And just play that, I guess. And all attack or not attack with this one. A wall, a defender still can't block a flying creature. So I need some kind of spell to get rid of this character, and then I could attack freely. What is this one called? Doom Whisperer? Yeah. If I could get rid of this guy, then I could turn this around and win. Otherwise, I'm just gonna lose. And decent chance I'm just gonna lose. Because, yeah. Just kind of nothing I can do. If I could give this one flying, that might be useful. How come my black vampire deck wasn't this successful? Because this is a black-blue deck, or is it just because they have more cards, better cards? I think some of it boils down to they have more cards and better cards. Like, I don't think I have Doom Whisperer. A flying with trample 6/6 for 5 mana is pretty good. And all this mana is becoming pretty useless now. Level by level gaming saying gotta go. Talk to you later. Thanks for checking in and watching. Yep. I still don't understand like why anybody would be able to watch an early morning stream. It's just kind of how my insomnia is gone, and it seems like it is getting a little bit more views. Maybe that's just because I'm playing MTG Arena instead of Hearthstone. But even if you are a person who's going to work at 6 in the morning or school at 6 in the morning, it's an odd scenario that you're in. It's probably not uncommon, but it definitely feels odd that in the first 2 or 3 hours of arriving at school or work in your life, you're able to hop onto YouTube and watch a streamer stream live. That's why I had always gone for the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening time slots, something more like primetime TV. But I don't know, like, I don't know why he did that. Like, he just played in such a way to to make me actually have a chance. And see, now I can attack with this next turn, and if he chooses to block it, what does this guy do? Whenever the creature dies, the creature card is put in the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves the graveyard. Gain does 1 damage to each opponent. Each player puts the top card of the library into the graveyard. Alright, so he's going to play a card strategy here where he's going with a deck destruction strategy. And these cards don't have any abilities. So you just attack with this. He decides to defend with that, and I kill him. Or he defends with that, and I kill him. Or he defends with that, and I kill him. Or he doesn't defend at all, and I do damage. So he's got really no good strategy there. Like, his best bet is to use this. But of course, then that's 1 damage to me. So, unless he used his ability to put the 1 card that I want in the graveyard so I can summon it from the graveyard, which, if I've got a card that has a strategy that only works when my opponent does something, that's a pretty terrible strategy. I think I lost anyways here. See, so all I can do is block that. Well, actually, kind of has made a mistake here, I think. Because now that is tilted, these 2 cards can attack next turn. Probably won't be enough to solve anything. Add 6 mana. That's a different audio, for sure. So all attack for 11 damage. He's just gonna let it happen. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to end this recording with just 3 losses, and that'll be that. And then we'll continue to play ranked play in the next recording. We're trying to get up in ranked, and it's not happening really. All he has to do is defend with this and this, then these 2 will die, and then I will lose the game. By the way, that's all he had to do. What is this guy's ability? Oh, well, I lose the game anyways. I wonder what it was asking me to resolve there. Because it was asking me to click the resolve button, but there really shouldn't have been anything that I could have done. Ah, alright, and let's see. We have something new that just appeared. So there's a level, I guess, of ability to update this without having to install an application update, which I don't think Hearthstone really ever had that integrated and to its own demise. So the battle.net launcher would tell you announcements. So Extra Life 2010, play games, heal kids. Purchase special sleeves in the Magic the Gathering store, and proceeds will be donated to the Children's Hospital. On November 2nd, tune in to twitch.tv/magic for special guests and epic games. To help celebrate the event, gives an extra life to both players. Start at 2 and creatures +0/+1. Charity item. Net proceeds donated, not the gross proceeds, the net proceeds. So after expenses proceeds are donated to this. Interesting. And it seems like, yeah, you'll get a card style if you play, and it seems like this is free. Either that's the case, or this is going to pop up a pay money screen. Interesting. And I want to look and see what else do we have here. There's this festival standard artisan also. Let's look at this. This hasn't started yet. Bring a standard deck and consider consisting of commons and uncommons. The following cards are banned. Okay. So 2,500 gold to just keep on playing and get 5 wins. And this hasn't started yet. So 48 hours, basically Monday. We'll be able to potentially get into this and do this, although I'm not sure it's really worth it, because these card skins and cosmetics early game, they may actually be worth it because you also get the cards. You're not getting card skins for cards you don't have. At least it doesn't seem like that's the case. So since I don't have the cards, that'll be useful. Yeah, in this hour and 30 minutes we've played 3 games, gotten 1 victory, and gotten half of these daily quests done. So we'll have to focus on playing more games in the next recording. That's going to be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Okay, for the live people, I'm going to switch the scene for a second. Do I have anything that I can do? Yeah, just had to check to make sure the Extra Life wasn't going to ask for money, and I don't think it is. Which, fair enough. Like, it'd be very silly to have an Extra Life event that is only open to people that donate. So 1 second and we'll start the next episode. Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of MTG Arena. Today is Friday, November 1st. We spent most of the first episode building a new green deck and then trying 3 games and failed at it. I'm going to play this Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity event that's happening right now. They're selling My Little Pony skin cards both in MTG Arena and I believe in the real world. So I'm just going to take this deck that I'm trying to get my head around and submit it as the deck we're going to play here. If we get one win, we'll get a card style. I don't think there's anything else to this though. So it really seems to me like it is just get one victory and then you're done. It's probably a good indication on just how greedy Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast is, that you would just, well, thanks for the victory I suppose, but I actually wanted to play the game. So you get this cosmetic card, Happily Ever After, which I think anytime you get a cosmetic card and you've already got the, and you don't have the card itself, I think you get the card itself. But there is something, I think, kind of nefarious about the cosmetic skins for cards, in that they, I'm pretty sure, have at least 1, if not 2 or 3 different cosmetics for every single card in the game. So you may be getting a common cosmetic compared to an ultra rare, mythic rare cosmetic, which I imagine a mythic rare cosmetic is worth a lot more in the economy as it is in both paper Magic and the real world. Let's try that again. I actually do want to play this. Characters get +1 toughness, and you get a 2nd life. But yeah, this does kind of seem like it's a sort of greedy promotion that's not really giving a lot to the players, which might be all right. But so you have this Extra Life medallion, which you can hide, I suppose. See, so they even have the concept of putting things over the edge, and they need more of that to happen, where things are just, and we start at 21 instead of 20. So you get 1 extra life, is the joke there, I suppose. So they didn't try very hard on that. So whenever you cast a night spell, create a 1/1 human creature. I'd like to see this actually work. Guess this is considered a night spell. So I believe this was a 2/2 and it got a +0/+1 token, and thus it got a plus well, let's see, we have 5 mana If we had 6, we could do kind of nothing, so I think this was the right move. 3 green white tokens. Or do this. Indestructible. 6/6. And he keeps the counter, the token, so that was a good spell to use. Alright. All I can do right now is that. And all I can do still is that, so. So you have a Vigilance Trample minion that will work perfectly well until he plays something with Death Touch, and now I'm just trying to get more characters on the field. Can't play this because I don't have a white mana. See. Gain Vigilance and Trample. So definitely want to attack with that. Definitely want to attack with that. The only question is, do we want to attack with this? No, I don't think so. Whether blocking, I don't think even matters, but let's just go ahead and do it the opposite way. I don't understand how that survived. Sacrifice another creature. If you do so, destroy target an opponent controls. When dies, return creature with converted mana cost of 3 or less from your field. Why can I not play this? Convoke. I guess Convoke again would only work if I had a white mana, so I have 3 cards here that will not work because I don't have a white mana at all. Interesting. Well, I see a problem with my deck. Yeah, if I was going to play green-white, I need to play green-white. Otherwise, I need to get rid of these green-white cards and replace them with just solid green cards. And yeah, I've lost. Well, for the extra live event, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any reason why you would really want to play this. It's only a slight variation, and sure, if this was a weekly Tavern Brawl type event that they're going to do every week, that would be better than what it seems like they are going to do, but it's not a big enough change. Extra Life probably should have meant, if you were going to do that, where all the characters resummon after one death, or you play until you die and then you play a second time, or it's best out of like 4 losses instead of 3 losses to some larger amount of reward. That's really what I want to do, is I want to see at least 4 skins here, and then out of 4 losses, if you can get 4 or 5 victories out of before you lose 4 times, that's what I'd want. And I guess ranked draft is something we could do, and something we will have to do, won't we? So let's think about this. Ranked draft would once again give me a bunch of cards that I think you keep, and I have enough gold to do it, and you need to do it at least once per month. So it makes a lot of sense to do a ranked draft on the first day of the month and get the new cards, and then play better. Throne of Eldraine Season 2. So last month was the first month of Throne of Eldraine, so we are so early in it that it totally makes sense. But do I have really time to do a ranked draft today? No. So how are we gonna do this? I guess Monday we'll have to make a new, we'll do the ranked draft on Monday, and then my setup here where I was making a new black and then a new white and then a new green, we'll have to leave the red and blue for Wednesday and Friday next week, and then probably, if the ranked draft cards give us enough cards, that there's at least a slight argument to go back and rebuild the ones we'd already built. I guess right now we just stick with the standard rank. Yep. Alright, and so that will put us now in a position where we can start talking about the video game news and get over the halfway point of today's stream. That is exactly what I want. 3 forests. And then that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I gotta put this away though. And it is so weird that your starting hand effectively has to be full of half mana producing cards, so you really only have like 4 cards that your starting hand actually is around. I guess in Hearthstone that is also true, though. You really only have like 4 cards. Pretty much lost already because I have no strategy against Death Rattle, and not enough minions to work around that. Let's see. There we go. Well, these both attack, so I can attack safely. This one could scry and buff up the character. Steam has a sale going on top of its regular sale, which is a little weird, where the Sinrin Kagura producer...
True heretics will feel the bite of my blades.
Next. don't know why this moved over that way. Didn't really need to. Really no reason to just move everything over that way, but okay. So yeah, the developer publisher of the Senran Kagura games are on sale. We're in the middle of the Halloween sale still going on. Those games rarely go on sale, and even now I will fully admit that they're only getting about 50% off. But it is something. I would love to own the Senran Kagura games, and probably could censor them down to make them YouTube friendly, and cover them, because let's face it, the Senran Kagura games, while they do have lewd bits, aren't usually, I think, going for a full actual exposure. It's not going for an MA rating.
Is that all?
Okay. So, put that on the field. This is another one that requires white. So, if I am going to make it green and white, I need to have more white creatures. White mana. Of course, having this Planeswalker on the field just then turns this into a nightmare, because everything is going to be a instant spell thing. Steam otherwise has only until very recently, probably yesterday, started to really have any games come out. I think it has more to do with just the timing of things, and not so much Steam being particularly sacrifice a creature or Planeswalker. Seriously? Do I have to? Fine. Can I activate the Planeswalker's ability? No. So we don't have a lot of games coming out, but there are definitely games coming out. On the other hand, Death Stranding is now getting reviewed, and it feels like it's kind of a controversial game, in the sense that there's some people that seem to absolutely hate it, and some people that seem to absolutely love it. This could be a case of the hype, or just a lot of people wanting to help Kojima in his first effort and not really being objective, or it could be a case of there's something in Death Stranding that people really hate but don't want to say, because it's like an SJW reason why they're hating it. But I don't feel like that's probably the case. The Beastcast said they hated it, and it would be unfair to just assume or suspect that there's a nefarious or hidden reason for them hating it, when they gave pretty good examples of the game seeming to be just kind of boring and dull and odd. Food tokens do have that slight benefit of being something you can use to use up that little bit of extra mana that you might have laying around. Now I have to sacrifice another creature, a Planeswalker. Darn it. It's just sacrificing all my characters. If I could get this on the field, could maybe get it back. So yeah, Death Stranding could be the reason why not too many games have been coming out for the past week, or just timing in general. So now I'm going through my Twitter feed and looking at it. What's on Steam seems to be working again, so that really did feel like that was just a target creature gets +1/+1 and gains death touch until the end of the turn. Let's see. There we go. That's nice. So I can bring back a character. If I could buff up 3 characters and... Alright, well this guy's just made a mistake. He's got no cards, so I don't know what he was thinking there. Let's see. This. And then this. And let's see. I could attack here and I could attack here, and that would do 10 damage. Then I could get rid of that and probably bring back one of these guys. So, you know, it's probably not a bad idea. So I'm just gonna attack with 1 and we'll see what it wants to do. If he blocks with this death touch, that's fine. If he blocks with that, that's fine too. Alright, so I want to kill this one first, and then hit the death touch. What does this guy do? Put counters. Become a creature. 7, lose 7. Let's see. Death touch or kill this. Why is this guy not dying? He's preventing damage from green. Alright, well, you know what? Put that on the field. Two 1/1 creatures. Counters on something. So, do I want to attack with something? I think I do. Go ahead and attack. I don't know why I tapped that for no reason, but okay. Well, I tapped that. I should have used a food token. So yeah, we have a decent amount of games to talk about when I can get all the tabs open. Let's see. So this guy's just prevented from taking damage from this guy ever, so... this. And so if Death Touch happens, oh, costs more, I guess, than I realized. Alright, so attack with this and attack with this. Let's see what this does. Okay. So he blocks with this. Death Touch should not be able to kill this guy. Yeah, it doesn't. So now he's gone. So now we're great. And I probably should have just made him... Yeah, I probably should have just made him this guy. Well, yeah, it looks like the strategy is gonna kind of work, but boy, do I feel like I'm just kind of squandering and I'm being a real tryhard here instead of playing a synergy or really knowing what I'm doing. But I guess that's the point right now, is we're trying to learn the new decks, we're trying to learn the new cards, have at least a general idea as far as what's good and what isn't. Right. This guy is terrible. He's gonna make me destroy something. Get rid of that. So pelt collector, and then this. So can we do this to do that? And then that. And then this. Yeah, that. And then and you can only do one thing, I guess, at a time. So I probably should have used my other ability. Alright. There's... I've got... see. Got a decent amount of food that would probably be better off sacrificed. Although, if I had that card in my graveyard, that wouldn't work. So I'm just going to attack with this. That's probably a mistake, come to think of it. Okay. Choose the legendary permanent you wish to keep. Others will go to the graveyard. Seriously? You can only have one on the field. This is bull. How in the world was I supposed to know that was a rule? Alright, well, I'll attack. This guy didn't have trample. And so this guy doesn't even come back from the graveyard. Oh, that is just awful. How was I supposed to know that worked that way? That you couldn't cheat your way through some stuff? I need to start covering the news. Okay, so become a clone of that. And then +1/+1 for that. And then all attack. Yeah. So here we have from Gearbox, a letter from Gearbox founder Randy Pitchford celebrating Borderlands, 10 years of Borderlands. What's interesting here is I think they've gotten him to just write a letter and like heavily polish it. No controversy here, nothing insane. Is this possibly a glimmer of hope that Randy Pitchford has finally learned his lesson and realizes that he can be a sort of scumbag CEO, but as long as he's not doing anything incredibly controversial, he'll just be among the likes of the EA CEOs and the Ubisoft CEOs and Activision Blizzard CEOs, of which they're all scumbags, but most are not so prevalent about it. Maybe that is what's going on here. Otherwise, I would just assume 2K lawyered up on him and said, write this short letter, we're going to get final approval, we're going to write this up well. Randy Pitchford off the cuff has always been problematic, but even when he's prepared on a stage show, he's kind of problematic. So he's only good, I guess, they've realized, in a edited format, in a highly curated format of a letter. It is certainly odd to not put out a video celebrating 10 years. There is a video here, but I don't know if it's Randy actually talking. The video actually looks like it's mostly other employees talking. Yeah, I don't see Randy here at all. So yeah. Meanwhile, there's still very good reasons to continue the boycott of 2K and Gearbox and not buy Borderlands 3, and Borderlands 3 in particular still an Epic Games Store exclusive. Instead of being probably the best game of the year, it's just been boiled down to something that's mostly forgotten at this point, or not being talked about in the level that I think it should be. There is, I suppose, something to point here that he's still trying to get people to follow him on his Twitter and look for shift codes on his personal Twitter account, when he's also, like, you don't even have to say accused here, he definitely retweeted a video, or directly tweeted out a video of a cat and a lobster fighting each other, and the cat crying in pain as the lobster is hurting him and pinching him. So at the very least, you could say it is a cruel animal on animal violent video. That, yeah, he does seem like he gets high on some kind of drug at some point and just tweet out or say some kind of BS, and maybe he is just high on himself and his own insanity. But yeah, he's still trying to get people to follow his personal Twitter, and it's still all about him being the star of the show, even in this letter, when Gearbox would be way better if he had just said follow us on at Gearbox's Twitter account, which I think is just at Gearbox, and for shift codes instead. And his personal Twitter should be shut down from the public, or just kind of deleted in total for all the problems that it's had. So yeah, it's kind of a non-story, but 10 years has happened. 14 years of Gearbox, 10 years of Borderlands. Next story we have from TechRaptor: the ACC rules that Fallout 76 refunds can go forward in Australia. The ACC being what? The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. So the ACC, I imagine, had taken ZeniMax to court, saying that they misled people about Fallout 76 and that they deserve a refund in Australia, and I think that's fair enough. Like, there's some stuff that Australia does that I feel is like ultra conservative and crazy and just like moral policing that I don't agree with. But then there's also some consumer protections that Australia does that I do agree with. So their government is a bit of a mixed bag, which is probably better than a lot of governments where all government activity is considered bad, or nearly all the other governments' activity is considered bad. I can't suggest that Australia should adopt the rah-rah capitalism, unbridled and unchecked mentality that goes around in the United States. But yeah, I'm not sure how many Australians really bought Fallout 76, so I'm not sure how big of a deal it is. Still getting a lot of network issues. maybe this just has something to do with the first day of the month, everybody jumping in. I don't see how you'd get particularly ahead of the curve that way. If you, I suppose maybe if you played against a bunch of really bad players the first day of the month and you got up to gold tier 1, 2, 3 or platinum tier, it might be easier at the first of the month than at other times. Let's see. Do I have enough for this? Right. So I'm gonna do something crazy here and make this a white, and that way I can play this next turn, hopefully. Otherwise I'm gonna constantly run into problems, but it probably won't even matter because this guy's probably just not gonna play. I'm gonna probably win that way. Let's see, Gamatsu has an article here for Arcade, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Last Survivor, Character Gameplay Volume 5, Jean-Pierre Polnareff video. I did not know that there was a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure arcade game, so I want to kind of see what it even looks like. It looks like it's pretty much just kind of a low effort game, if I was to guess. It doesn't seem that interesting. I tried to watch the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime on Netflix and could not get into it. I know a lot of people have really loved it, but it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Not my style of anime. I don't know if it's the character art style is probably a major factor, but the story itself does seem like it is kind of just a fighting Sentai style show, and none of those shows have ever interested me. Closest I've ever gotten is something like Sailor Moon, which is sort of a Sentai show, but bothered to try to tell more of a story, whereas something like Power Rangers, there's barely any story at all, and it's at least the English version of that I saw, and it's instead almost 100% focused on let's see, which one of these would be better? Yeah, let's do this. We spent that extra mana so we could play this. And then, what do we want to fight? Lifelink. Yeah, just fight that. Okay. Just like that. I don't have enough mana to do that. Next. And attack. There we go. Yeah. Sentai might be the wrong word. It might just be fighting shows. Fighting shows never caught my attention. They're too formulaic, too boring. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think, adds some weirdness on top of that. Next story we have here, Gamasutra, a video advice for game devs on creating believable heroes. This is from the GDC Vault, but the article itself is today, or at least that's how they're labeling it, but it's from a 2017 talk. Creating believable heroes. since Call of Duty Modern Warfare just happened. Let's do that. Yeah, somebody obviously didn't take full advice on that. He's playing everything he can play. Okay, well I guess I can defend with this, can't I? Even though it has summoning sickness? Yeah, I can block with that. Let's see, Gamma Citra has an article here, deep dive core enemy design in Tonight It Follows, which I've seen several people mention this, or I saw the same tweet several times on this game. It looks like it's an 8-bit pixel horror game of some sort. I don't know why you would wait so long to release a game like this, though. Like, if this was supposed to be out for Halloween, why was it not actually out for Halloween? Alright. Do this. And then attack, I guess. Yeah. More than ever, I am not a fan and not interested in playing 8-bit looking games. I mean, honestly, even if people were telling me I need to play 8-bit looking games, I'm feeling like that's something I really don't want to do. Okay. Next. And attack. And we'll just sacrifice this food, I guess. Because I don't want it on the field, otherwise it's just gonna... See, the interface of Magic the Gathering Arena is so annoying that I just sacrifice food that I otherwise would have kept on the field. So it needs something where you can control click something and just say pass. Don't pause on this ability. Alright, well, if this guy decides to defend, though. Well, moving on, Gematsu has an article here for the PS4 and Switch. Root film details Wako Shiba, Mysterious Girl, and Chiza Toriyama. They just announced this Root film sequel to Root Letter, I believe, and they only showed like 2 characters. So now they've got like 3 other characters. Here's Wako Shiba in kind of a traditional dress, Mysterious Girl in a more modern dress, and then Chiza Toriyama in whatever, in an older appearance. We still don't really know anything about Root Film yet, other than it's due out in the spring of 2020 in Japan for PS4 and Switch. a Western version is planned. It almost certainly is a horror game. But that's pretty much all we know. And yeah, this isn't one of those games where we actually need to follow every single update. Alright. So I think I've won. I don't think there's a way I'm gonna lose here, but this is really slow. But definitely taking forever. TechRaptor has an article here. A Halo Reach Battle Pass is coming, which sounds crazy because isn't Halo Reach didn't it come out a while ago? A battle pass, rather a battle pass style progression system is being added to the game, a move that will surely incentivize people to put a lot more time into the game. Progression through the system will allow you to unlock items for your characters, customization, so you really make your avatar stand out of the crowd. The system isn't going to function in Halo Reach alone. Instead, players will be able to level up to a global rank across all the titles in the Master Chief Collection. So if you're playing a game in that collection, you're making progress to unlocking cool customizations for Reach. So almost certainly this is an example of them testing out a new feature that they might put into the next Halo game. It doesn't seem like this progression system, which I think calling this a battle pass system is probably the wrong. Now I think this guy's just not playing because he knows he's lost. Yeah, it doesn't seem like this involves money, but if it is very well received, maybe there will be a battle pass progression like system in Halo, the next Halo game, and it will involve money. And see, that calling it a battle pass is a little bit different than what a battle pass means to me. A battle pass to me means you're paying some kind of money to play at a higher level or get more rewards. It's like a season pass, but instead of getting you seasonal episodic content, it's getting you rewards. So, for example, right here, this lower half here is effectively a battle pass system in my mind, where this top half is the free system, where you don't pay money. Alright, and yes, it does seem like very consistently we are getting XP on the daily quests for the first 10 wins, and then you stop getting XP. So theoretically, I should play this every single day and get 10 victories. Realistically, that is way too much time to play Magic the Gathering Arena. Way too much time. So now we just need to play, try out cards. I probably need to change my deck, come to think of it, but I'll play this one last game before I do that. I need to put in more of the white color lands, the green whites instead of green reds, for instance, because I don't believe there's anything that I have that actually requires a red mana. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article here. Come to GDC 2020 for an inside look on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order's design. I feel like this game is getting already overhyped quite a bit. I heard someone make the speculation, and that's pretty much all you can call it, that the reason why EA is coming back to Steam is that Steam actually did something to incentivize them, gave them a better cut, just decided, yeah, actually we should not just let everybody leave Steam without putting up a fight, which is a good move. So maybe they're giving EA 25% 25% commission instead of a 30% commission. But on the other hand, they had already announced that they were going to do that for certain partners, so yeah, it really feels more like EA has realized that if the Star Wars game is going to sell, they need to be on Steam. Let's see. Play that, I guess. And nothing else. I guess the only thing we could really do is try to figure out if is it my network that's taking forever or what? Yeah, I don't know if it's my network or someone else's network. But yeah, we pretty much are going to have to wait until we hear of some other major company that either left Steam or has never been on Steam, came to Steam, before we could take the assumption that Steam is actually trying to negotiate and get more people to come to Steam, compared to the, I think, more likely scenario that EA just realized they had to come to Steam, or they would go to the Epic Store. And it's a little surprising that the EA didn't go to the Epic Store, but I imagine there's probably some reason for that isn't as obvious as I could come up with. I bet EA doesn't use the Unreal Engine, would be my main guess. Or they probably have their own internal Frostbite engine or something. I think that might be it, yeah. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Carl Boom. This is a Bomberman game that looks visually polished enough to maybe make it to the fall list. $5.39, single player with online multiplayer, third-party UI, English and German. I'll put this on the fall list. We'll see if anybody says that this is the one Bomberman game you need to play on PC, if there is any one Bomberman game you need to play on PC, which might be a pretty big if there. TechRaptor has an article here. Neo 2 gets a release date and a free beta. So it's coming out March 13th, 2020. And let's see, there's a free beta out there. I'm not even going to bother to read the rest of the article to say where you can get the beta or anything like that. Just, I'm going to say there is a free beta out there according to TechRaptor. Check the article yourself if you're interested. I'm trying to speed up on some of this stuff. Next we have a game on Steam here called Citadel Fortune with Fire, which looks like it says it's an MMO RPG game. In the last 30 days it's been rated very positively, whereas it's mixed over its lifetime. So is it something that came out of early access? $35.99 is pretty expensive, discounted. And yeah, there's 50 achievements. I'll put this on the follow list, but So I imagine this is kind of a Skyrim MMO or Elder Scrolls Online MMO clone that if I was to really jump into it mentally, is probably not the kind of game for me. Let's see. This guy's just taking forever. Just resolve everything. What's funny here is if it really is my network, it's funny that they're making it out like it's the other guy's network and punishing the other guy ever so slowly. Just all the way to the end. And this burns at both sides, so it makes it seem like there's a lot more time than there actually is, but it's still way too much time. Sorry, I'm yawning. TechRaptor has an article here. Strong Switch sales, Switch Lite boosts Nintendo profits. So 1.95 million units have been sold in 11 days. So, okay. I don't know how much of that has to do with the price of the Switch Lite or the size of the Switch Lite. I would assume it has a lot to do with the size of the Switch Lite and very little to do with the price. Let's see. So you can play something like this, and then that puts a planeswalker on the field and makes them a little scared, I guess, but it doesn't really help any. Totally lost. Next we have a game on Steam called Rift Raccoon, which looks like it's a platforming game with a 8-bit aesthetic, Super Mario Brothers style game. There might be something here. Probably.
Initiate, you are not worthy.
$7.99 discounted, English only. Doesn't feel like there's a major twist with Rift Raccoon. Feels like the network trouble finally fixed itself. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Race with Ryan. This actually came out on Xbox Live too. So it looks like it's a Mario Kart game clone with just a character named Ryan for $29.99. I'll put it on the follow list, but almost certainly at that price the answer is no. There's a very high chance that the reviews will hate this game. Even though it is visually pretty nicely polished, it still has a high chance of not actually playing well. And TechRaptor has an article here. Astronauts becomes one of Curve Digital's bestsellers in a week. Which, okay. Autonauts is the name of it, not Astronauts. I haven't heard of Autonauts at all, and it doesn't look like it's a particularly interesting game. Looks like it's a Factorio / Minecraft clone. I made it up to silver tier 4, so I don't think I can fall any lower than that. But yeah, let's make an edit to this deck. I'm falling asleep too. I don't know how I could have really fixed that. So I'm gonna add 2 here and get rid of these 2 there. Alright. And then we have this guy is green blue. And this would be green black. And so let's get rid of that also. We need early game characters. So let's add that. We're not playing this as much as I think we should. You know, the whole token thing falls apart because we're missing the thing that would double tokens. So let's search that. Let's just search the word double. Alright. Double strike, double strike, double strike. This one would double the number of tokens. So we have one of those, we can put that in. And then food doesn't seem like it really does anything. And that's kind of what I thought. But it's probably not a bad idea to hold on to him anyways. This guy did work for a brief time. Let's see. Sacrifice 3 food, return this 3. See, this card's probably not worth it. So let's get rid of that. Is this useful? Probably not. Oops. I wish there was a way to suggest cards or get suggested cards. We probably need something that would destroy creatures. Like a spell that would do something there. But let's just put Crystal Growth back in here and strategize less. Alright. Now play this. So not a major change there, but hopefully a significant change. Tech Raptor has an article here. Layers of Fear VR announced coming soon. I think since Layers of Fear was a walking simulator with basically nothing else good I can say about it, it probably doesn't change much if it's in VR. Probably would be a little bit scarier and you would not look around, which is kind of the only thing you do in the game anyways. So it sort of makes sense, but it also doesn't make any sense because you're talking about making a VR game at a point where VR games are not succeeding, to say the least. Next we have a game on Steam here called Bomb Tiles, which is Minesweeper with, it looks like some polish on it and some extra gameplay on top of it, which, you know, that's slightly interesting, so I'll put it on the follow list. Of course, it's in early access and it's a free-to-play game, so I don't know how it's going to make any money. Probably not. Probably won't. Okay. Do I have anything I need to play? Or can play? Next we have Super Urban Wizard, which is just a low effort joke game, obviously. That looks like a topless lady. I'm not sure. So a run-in and gunner game where you're playing as a wizard. It seems like a troll game. 69 cents, English only. Not worth my time. Let's see. TechRap, there's an article here. Bluepoint teases that they're basically remaking everything. So, what games did Bluepoint make? By the picture, it looks like Shadow of Colossus is one of them. Although let's see. So I imagine some of this is probably just jokes here. So like So the tweet here is, so calm this spooky night, a symphony of rumors, not one but two return from Shadow Resistance. So anyways, the Symphony of Rumors might be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Some kind of other game reference, like they're breaking down all this tweets like that means anything, and I suspect it means nothing. So if Bluepoint really is remaking games, okay, yeah. I don't think Bluepoint games, though, the better point to ask is what have they made in the past. So looking at their Wikipedia article, skipping down the games, they made Blast Factor, the God of War collection, the Echo and Shadow of the Colossus collection, Metal Gear Solid HD collection, PlayStation's All-Star Bundle, Flower, Titanfall, Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, Gravity Rush Remastered, and Shadow Colossus. So some of these feel like these are all ports, though, not the original. I don't think they're the original creators of any of those. So, okay. I'm going to put this on this. And I'm going to play this. Which I should have just played that, but whatever. Do I want to attack? Not yet. So they teased pretty much every game and every collection they put out before, and I wouldn't be surprised if, yes, they are making remasters of all those games for PlayStation 5, but it really doesn't mean much. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article here. Rage 2 Terramania launches November 14th. This doesn't even look like Rage 2, which is, I guess, saying a lot. It's a expansion with weapons and a mission, and at least one mission. People are definitely not talking about Rage at this point. Let's see. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article. Game sales drive strong profit growth for Sega. If you're more interested in the details, you can seek out that story, but I guess I'll just leave it at that, and that's probably good enough. Let's see. Some of this stuff just takes too long. It really does. The interface just seems slow. 3 or more other forests. I didn't control 3 or more other forests. TechRaptor has an article here. Epic Games Store launches new features and shows what's coming next. Open critic reviews are now on Epic. That seems to be about it. Okay. Which, going with open critic reviews instead of having your own review system where people who are consumers can review the games, is not as good as Steam, in my opinion. Let's see, speaking of open critic, they have an article here. Fallout 76 refunds available for some buyers in Australia following the consumer advocate ruling. OpenCritic is becoming more of a journalism site than it seems like a just standard conglomeration of reviews, which I'm not sure I really want to see OpenCritic go in that direction, because then it becomes just another mainstream video game journalist site in the face of Kotaku potentially being out of business or being shut down in the next year. We don't need somebody to rise up and replace them. And frankly, I can trust OpenCritic to just collect other reviewers' numbers and scores. I can't really immediately trust them to properly write articles and be objective. Alright. This. Gamma Sutra has more insight on the Switch Lite sales strong at launch. Total Switch sales are nearing 42 million. We can get that much. I'm really falling asleep here. I think we're gonna have to just abruptly end this stream at the end of this game and just call it a day. And I'll just curate the games that came out from Monday, which will be fine. And I don't know if there's anything else that really needs to be done. So let's just cover the news and then wrap up. Gamma Sutra has an article. Get a Job Mutant RM Studios is hiring a senior concept artist. This is an interesting logo and name. They're in Bend, Oregon. I've never heard of this studios. So interesting. They're putting here, this is not an entry-level position. The senior concept artist, which no duh, like theoretically a senior job is not an entry-level position. But I kind of want to know what Mutant Arm Studios has made, if they've made anything. Mutant Arm. Their website is just under construction. So it immediately links to their LinkedIn page. There's a Mutant Entertainment Studios also. But that looks like it's a completely different company. So it doesn't seem like Mutant Arm Studios has created anything, and that would explain why I wouldn't recognize them. Open Critic here has the Death Stranding reviews. Right now, based on 74 critics' reviews, they're calling it mighty. Top critic average is 86%, critic recommended is 83%. So I don't know why all of the Beastcast hated it so much, but I guess groupthink could certainly do that for you. But groupthink could be in play on either side. It could be that a bunch of people are just trying to support this game because it's Kojima's first independent foray, or people could be hating it because of something else in the game that isn't being mentioned, because they're not allowed, I think, to mention the second half of the game. So there's potentially something maybe in the second half of the game that is what they would call problematic. Let's see. We can see here. Your IGN gave it a 6.8 out of 10. Metro Game Central. Let's see. Let's just cover some of the ones I recognize as mainstream people. Let's see. Game Informer gave it 7 out of 10. Whereas GameSpot gave it 9 out of 10. Polygon refused to give it a score. Kotaku refused to give it a score. Or I say refused to give it a score. They have yet to give it a score. Kotaku, that might be because of major infighting going on inside the employment of Kotaku. IGN Italy gave it a 9.8. IGN Spain gave it an 8.7, so it's only IGN America that has a problem with it. The IGN Middle East gave it a 77.8. So IGN as a brand is getting like 5 different review scores to heavily weight what the open score system is. Whereas I would say OpenCritic probably should average the score reviews down to one conglomeration, one corporate. So IGN in general's score should be averaged and weighted as one review. But that might be a little unfair too. Let's see. Let's check this next page and then call it, because then that'll be page 4. Well, OpenCritic's not even loading. Okay, well, that's a little weird, to say the least. That seems like most people are liking Death Stranding, but some people are definitely not liking it. From the description of the gameplay, it does sound a little boring and crazy, and that seems like that was always the case. Excuse me there, I'm wearing out my voice, which is just another problem. So I've got like 2 ways in which my body is falling apart and failing me today. One with insomnia and wanting to fall asleep, and the other with my voice getting worn out. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article here. God Eater 3 version 2.10 updates launches November 7th update. So extra content has been added, I imagine. I really do want to play God Eater at some point. But yeah, God Eater is not even Code Vein, and that's what I was thinking about just now. I want to play Code Vein and God Eater. God Eater has been out for a while. Alright, so now I'm just going to skip all the games that came out on Steam. And we're just going to cover the news. Let's see. Gamer Sutra has an article. Watch Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky discuss the development of the Outer Worlds. This is a new video from GDC, I imagine. Yeah. Let's see. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night version 1.03 update is now available for the Switch to improve graphics and performance, which is good, because I do recall that the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night port to the Switch was somewhat lackluster, but also the Switch, let's just face it, is kind of underpowered. Disco Elysium is coming to PS4 and Xbox One in 2020, according to Gamatsu, and according to the reviews on this, people are enjoying Disco Elysium as kind of an XCOM adventure game. I think that's what it is an XCOM-esque adventure game. Gamatsu has an article. Faith the Unholy Trinity has been announced for consoles and PC. Includes all 3 of the pixel horror games. I don't know why you would put out pixelated horror games after Halloween. Like, now is not the time to put out these kind of games. I will say this art style actually does make it look like it actually is well animated. Even though it's pixelated, the amount of movement there is at a high frame rate, so it's more of an outlined animation style than just this is a NES style game that was running at 12 frames per second. Gamatsu has an article here. Azure Lane Crosswave adds a PC version due out alongside the PS4 version in early 2020. So I guess Azure Lane would be the point to jump on there with Crosswave. There have been mobile games under the Azure Lane series since 2017, but if they're going from mobile to console, I imagine they're going to bring out more content. And I believe Azure Lane is the anime girls that represent battleships from like World War II submarines and such. Mostly battleships, though not submarines. So, yeah, there might be something to that. Double Fine, I think, retweeted once again that Costume Quest is out and available now on Amazon Prime. So I'll just mention that without actually showing their tweet because I don't want to have to scroll up. The Humble Bundle store has a Demonic Week sale that's now live, up to 90% off on some games. Potential to buy games on the Humble Bundle store and get a Steam key, which is what I would do if I was going to shop there. I actually found a new computer thing I want, but it's a computer case that's like $300 refurbished, so it's very specialized, like business style computer case. Too expensive really to spend that kind of money on it. TechRaptor has this article, Learn the Code VR Games with the Humble Bundle. Now the phrase learn the code for a brief time was being labeled as a problematic phrase, so I'm not sure if that's how the Humble Bundle store would label it. Yeah, they're calling it the Learn and Play VR and AR Game Dev Bundle. So this is an example of the staff writer here or somebody at TechRaptor being a little bit of a troll, and they are sometimes a little bit of a troll, which they really shouldn't be. Like, it doesn't help your case when you're trying to be a legitimate video game journalist site. There's a collection of reviewers that made a website called Exclusively Games that is somewhat run by trolls, but then they are trying very well to be professional, so you don't really see a lot of trolling in what they're posting. So they try to add professionalism in what they post and what's on Exclusively Games, and if they want to be trolly, they do that on their personal websites or YouTube channels. Here on r/Minecraft, there's an updated combat test snapshot, number 3, and custom map for combat testing. So they're making some tweaks to combat in Minecraft. And I noticed that Mumbo Jumbo, a pretty famous Minecraft YouTuber, was able to make a realistic elevator using the new honey blocks, which I was trying to make realistic elevators in Minecraft 3 or 4 years ago, and eventually realized it's just unlikely that it was possible at all, and finally somebody has done it. We had elevators, certainly, but they were either really small or looked nothing like a elevator. This organization here, Gamers Outreach, Gamers for Giving, has been made it to the next round of voting for CNN Heroes of the Year, which, depending on, yeah, they made it to the top 10 at CNN Heroes. So if you want to vote for that, that would be great. CNN hasn't been a huge fan to or friend to gamers, and you'll have to take your own opinion on whether you care about CNN's opinion. But anytime any charity gets celebrated for doing something around video games instead of the horrible stories that we hear all the time about video games being nothing but negative, is probably a step in the right direction. If we could get the mainstream news media, not just the video game media, but the actual mainstream news media, to stop putting the same clickbait articles out that video games cause violence or video games are evil because of this or this, that would be really great. See, Koei Tecmo has some Halloween costumes they put out for their latest Dead or Alive game. So here's a picture of them saying Happy Halloween, basically. And I imagine you'll probably have to pay through the nose if you wanted to have all those costumes. Tech Raptor has an article here. Battlefield 5 Year 2 edition has been released. If you're interested in that, I'm not. See, we only have a few more articles, and then that'll be the end of the stream. But there's a lot of games I'm gonna have to curate through. Tech Raptor has an article. Next free Epic Games Store games are Nuclear Throne and Ruiner, both of which of those games I don't think were as popular or well selling as they were hyped. So if we're gonna start seeing Epic Game Stores coming out that are free, but they're both games of not much interest to me, that'll be interesting. I suppose is the right phrase to use. TechCraft has an article. Netflix drops a new trailer for The Witcher along with a release date. It's coming December 20th. This guy's really doesn't look like Geralt of Rivia, but in all fairness, I don't know of anybody that would look like him. And we will just have to see how well this Witcher series sells or plays on Netflix. Most of Netflix's releases are bad, so odds are not good that this would be a good series. TechRaptor has an article. Pirate Battle Royale Blazing Sails blast on the Steam in 2020. Okay, this looks visually polished. And then here's another one of these ones where the videos are messed up. Yeah, I think I did something to their website, or they did something to their website. I'll have to do some research on that one. I'm either ad blocking something or something. TechCraft has an article here. No Man's Sky showcases the best bases in Space Anomaly. New missions, features, and bases, and more. Okay. For anybody still playing No Man's Sky, or that ever did play No Man's Sky. Gamatsu has an article here. Transient gameplay reveal trailer. Transient being the Lovecraftian game that was, I think, just announced. Yep, it looks kind of like a horror grotesque game. Yeah, okay. It's due out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC in 2020. No other information really supplied. Zynga, according to Gamasutra, reports a record Q3 revenues and weaker than expected profits. I think we already talked about that on Wednesday. Gamasutra has an article here. The PS4 has become the second best-selling home console of all time. The first being, I assume, let's see, the total places the PlayStation 4 just above the original PlayStation, which sold 102.49 million lifetime sales, and the Wii, which sold 101.63 million lifetime units. Okay. So the order now goes PlayStation 4, PlayStation 1, Nintendo Wii. Interesting. Okay. I could almost certainly make the argument that the Wii would have sold more if the PlayStation, if the Wii had more content. over its lifetime, if there was never a good reason to take your Wii to a GameStop and sell it used, it probably would be in number one. Whereas the PlayStation 1, I think if you had a PlayStation 1, you would have kept the PlayStation 1 until the day it died. Same is probably true for a PlayStation 4. I mean, I still, right now, have my PlayStation 3, which I barely have used at all. I played like 3 games on it and maybe watched a dozen Blu-rays on it, and yet it's still plugged in as a Blu-ray player just in case. Gamma Sutra has an article here. The first Switch game okayed for launch in China, though the console remains in limbo, so apparently the Switch itself is still waiting approval. Alright, that's weird. So the game could be sold, but the console couldn't be sold, so somebody would have to have purchased the console internationally and imported it. Also, China is starting a fund to get away from using U.S. semiconductors. I don't know how many semiconductors are really made in the United States. I would say I thought all the fabrication shops were in Korea, Taiwan, maybe some in Australia, maybe some in India. I didn't really think that there were any in the Americas at all, with I guess the exception of maybe Texas Instruments, like they're in the United States, but that's the only semiconductor producer that I could even think of, although I'm not well versed in semiconductor producing companies. But yeah, if China gets away from our semiconductors, it probably wouldn't hurt the United States too much, but it might. It's just a continued escalation of the trade war that arguably needs to happen, but is happening badly, in my opinion. Next, TechRaptor has an article, Chains of Fury brings comic book first-person shooter to Switch and PC. Alright, I like this art style. If you're gonna do a Doom-esque game, do it differently. And often we don't get different. Now the actual gameplay here doesn't look amazingly interesting or worth playing, but and this is dangerously so Doom-like it may cause me to get motion sick. But yeah, I would put this on the follow list when it comes out to Steam. I'll put it on the follow list. Let's see. And then I have some things past the Humble Bundle store, so I'm going to look at the Humble Bundle store real quick and see if there's anything else. I did buy the Idea Factory bundle for $10. So I got a bunch of games there. And then I guess I have to use my keyboards. Now I'll have to use Control Tab to get further. So just hit Control Tab a bunch and see if there's any articles past that point, because I have so many tabs still open, but I don't want to cover anything except for this game. This game in particular deserves to be shown because this is the game that deserves more hype than it has. The 13th Doll, a fan game of the 7th Guest, is out to basically no fanfare. I don't think this is a 100% remake of the 7th Guest. I think this is the third game in a trilogy, or a fan-made third game in a trilogy, where it was the 7th Guest, the 11th Hour, and now the 13th Doll. And they are doing it very much like the 7th Guest, full motion video with puzzles and some kind of silly shenanigans. So I'll put this on the follow list. It's $26.99. It's English full audio, and that's all. I guess they wanted it out by Halloween, and they just barely got it out by Halloween. Honestly, I think they probably, again, these games should be out like October 1st, not October 31st. And I feel like Halloween is just like a bad time to sell a game anyways, because you're maybe trying to get before Black Friday, and in all fairness, I did get an email saying that one company is already doing Black Friday sales as early as November 1st. But people are planning for Halloween parties. They're buying candy. They're buying Halloween decorations. It's really not a time where you're just going to be flush with extra cash. You probably aren't going to be completely broke either, but I would say as you approach the last couple of weeks before Halloween, you would have less likeliness of spending extra money. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. I'll just read it out loud as I'm on my Twitter feed. Blizzard angers players by not supporting a World of Warcraft esports prize pool, which is to say, they phrased it like they were giving up to like $500,000 or something, but really what they were saying is that they would make up the difference if players who donated to the prize pool didn't give $500,000. Also, Activision Blizzard has lost the Taiwanese Mitsubishi sponsorship. So, yeah, people are still hating Blizzard. I don't think there's any big surprise there. Borderlands tweets out, you can now redeem gold keys online at borderlands.com. You could have done that for a while now. Let's see. And yeah, they've got no Borderlands 2 code. So still giving out Borderlands 2 shift keys. And I'm still collecting them even if I never play Borderlands 2 again. And I'm scrolling down my Twitter feed just to see if there's anything else worth mentioning. It's so weird to sit in silence. Magic the Gathering Arena really needs to work on that. They need to decide, are they going to play some soft music in the background all the time, which is what they should do, or are they going to be silent all the time? Just having the game go silent because I haven't clicked on anything in a while is kind of ridiculous. If you shop through Amazon smile.amazon.com, you can support extra the Child's Play charity. You can, through smile.amazon.com, support many charities, and I use it when I'm buying something on Amazon to support the Electronic Freedom Foundation, which is just my default charity of choice. Speaking of electronic freedom, in general, the Debian GNU Foundation is being sued by like a patent troll, and they're having to take it to court in fear that if this patent troll just drops the case, he'll seek out other people making open source software and try and use it, trying to attack other people. So they feel it, and they need to protect the community in total instead of their own organization. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching.